Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall, psychic, all the way from the Gold Coast. What an interesting week it's been around the world, as I know the Northern Hemisphere is really sort of celebrating summer and barbecuing and partying. Here in Australia, we're freezing to death, but that's okay. We've got to have some winter sometime. So wherever you are in this world of ours, I hope you've had a really good week and you've really started to sort of embrace getting out and enjoying your life again. We've all lived with COVID for so long now, and I know it's not completely over yet, not by a long shot, but we're all sort of trying to find our new normal and start to reactivate our lives again in a way that we're not so fearful, but, you know, we are getting about our daily business and spending time with family and friends and going out and having a life again. And I think that's really important because for many of us, we were so isolated for so long and so fearful of going out and catching the dreaded COVID. And I'm not saying that COVID's not about, it is about, and it's much more infectious in a strange sort of way than what it was at the beginning. And, you know, there's been big arguments for vaccinations and people that are against vaccinations. I mean, that's a very personal choice. I mean, my personal belief is we do everything we can to protect ourselves. But again, that comes back to personal belief systems, and I'm not about to lecture anybody. So it's interesting this week that the card of the week turns out to be the Hermit. When we're considering that we're all getting out and about and enjoying our lives again, I thought this was an interesting card to draw before the show, because the Hermit card is the card of loneliness or unattached. Or more importantly, I like to look at it as some soul-searching time is needed here, or some time alone. Now, I think plenty of us have had plenty of time alone during lockdowns and changes in our lives, but I think what's needed now is a little bit of soul-searching time, is to make sure that we've rebooted our lives in a direction that we're comfortable with. Are we heading in the right direction? Are we going the way that we want to go? You know, we all sort of took the stand of, oh my goodness, my life's out of balance, I better do something about it, as we put our lives under the microscope as we were in shutdowns and lockdowns and restrictions and things like that. Now I think it's time to revisit that and make sure that we are definitely heading in the direction that we wish to be heading in as human beings. And that sort of is difficult sometimes because we have to look at things through a different lens. And that's what I'm asking you to do, is look at your life through a different lens and make sure that it's on track. It's where you want it to be at the moment. So it's really important that we start to look at life in that way. So we're going to move on to the astrology section. And this week I was going to say it's a little bit quieter on the astrology front. It is and it isn't. It's sort of not sort of maybe as intense as it's been. And we've had such intensity with planets, you know, conjunct and sitting on top of each other and holding hands, and sort of really powerful energy to deal with for such a long time, that it's a refreshing change to say things have just sort of calmed down a little bit. Things are a little bit easier on the home front or on the work front at the moment. We still have the sun in Cancer, and that may be responsible for all of us sort of being able to breathe a sigh of release and starting to feel a little bit more secure and sort of just taking a more gentle approach to life. Even though we're still strong and determined to achieve our goals, we're just looking at things in a much more calm sort of way, which is nice. And we also have Mercury, the planet of communication, is sitting in Cancer too. And I think that's also helping to sort of calm everything down at the moment. People aren't aggressive. People aren't sort of, you know, on the front foot so much. They're sort of taking a more relaxed approach to communication and trying to be gentle about issues that they may need to bring up, and not necessarily backing down from anything. I think things are still as strong as ever, but it's just a more gentle sort of homely sort of approach that we're taking to things. We have Venus, the planet of love and affection, is sitting in Gemini. For those people that are single, that are seeking love or would like to bring more companionship into their life, can I suggest that you start sort of venturing out into your own local environment. It's not the time to be hopping on a plane and going long distance. It's the time to check out what's going on locally. You know, is there a festival going on? Is there a concert in the park? Is there something that you can participate in locally? Is there an organisation you could join? You know, is there a charity or a community event that you can get involved with? These are great places to meet people that you ordinarily wouldn't meet in your day-to-day life, because you're venturing out of your comfort zone a little bit and getting involved in the community for a good cause as well. So maybe it's time to step out and do a little bit of community work. That might be just where you're going to meet the love of your life. We have Mars, the planet of action and determination, is sitting in Taurus at the moment. So for many of us around the world, as the cost of living is soaring and things are getting out of control with petrol prices and food prices and increases in just about everything that you can think of, it's a time where we need to sort of take a very sharp and determined look at our finances and our personal finances and see what maybe we can rein back in. Is there areas of our lives that we're spending too much money, or we can cut back on a few luxuries and sort of make the household budget just function that little bit better, stretch a little bit more like elastic? And, for many people, it's the time to sort of look at, plans that you might have, whether it's connected with your cell phone or your utility bills or car registration or whatever the case may be. Make sure that you're on the best deal possible for your circumstances. I think many of us become complacent, and I can certainly put my hand up here and say, oh, well, I've been with that company since the year dot, and that suits me because I'm basically too lazy to go and shop it around and look to see if I can get a better deal. I'm comfortable with the devil that I know rather than the one I don't know. And sometimes that's not necessarily always the best solution. Sometimes we need to sort of step out of our comfort zone and make sure that we are getting the best deal for us. We also have Uranus, the planet of the unusual and the unexpected. And I quite often talk about Uranus on this show. Uranus is like the bolt of lightning. It can come out of nowhere. It can create opportunities in our lives that we weren't expecting or didn't see coming. But by the same token, Uranus can create negative situations in our lives that can come out of nowhere as well. Depending on the energy and depending how we're handling our lives, I try and share with people, be very careful what you wish for because you might just get it. And if you're continually running around voicing an opinion about something or saying, I hate my job, well, guess what? Uranus will take the job off you. You said you hated it, so I'm granting your wishes. So just be very careful at what we sort of have coming out of our mouths. I affectionately call it verbal diarrhea. We need to make sure that we're trying to be as positive and as uplifting as we possibly can because the universe is listening. And if they can tap into what they think is going to make you happy, then make sure it's something good, something that you want, something that, you want more of the same, or, you're happy with your job and you hope to stay there till you're 90, whatever the case may be. So make sure that you're very clear when you're sending out messages or having conversations of what you truly want, not necessarily just having a whinge fest. So Uranus is conjunct or holding hands with what's known as one of the moon's nodes. Now, it's not a planet. The moon's north node is the way forward, is the area of life that we're hoping to aspire to, where we're trying to reach the highest point that we can in our lives. Now, with Uranus here holding hands with the moon's north node, we have opportunities to create or suggest to the universe the things that we want, and we have the energy and the determination to back it up when it's handed to us. So we have the opportunity, I believe, to dream big at the moment. Make sure that you know exactly what it is that you want and go about your business in trying to make it happen. It's not necessarily a bad time, it's a good time, but make sure that you've got all your ducks in a row. If you're going to go and apply for a promotion and go in and try and convince the boss that you're worth more money or worth a promotion, make sure you've got the information there to back it up, that you're not just going in there like a little kid sort of asking, for something that you're not entitled to. Make sure that you have the proof, that you have the answers there, that this is the reasons why I believe I deserve a promotion because this, and this, and this. And have you been aware of that, and that, and that? So make sure that you get those sort of ducks in a row. It's interesting, we have 3 planets that are going retrograde at the moment, and I quite often get questions from clients and in my inbox about what does a retrograde planet mean? Amanda, I really don't have any idea. Now, what a retrograde planet means is it's seemingly as if the planet is going backwards in the universe. If you can imagine, you're sitting on a train and sometimes when another train's passing you, you almost sort of feel like your train is going backwards even though it's still going forward. That's the best explanation I can give you as far as a retrograde planet. When a planet's seemingly going retrograde, it doesn't mean that the energy of the planet is any less. It doesn't mean that we don't have lessons to learn or things that we need to sort out. What it's saying to us, it's taking a more gentle approach, that sometimes the intensity of the planet is a little bit less, but it doesn't mean the lessons or the opportunity or the energy that we can harness from it is any less. So at the moment, we have Neptune going retrograde, which is the planet of illusion and delusion, sitting in Pisces. So for creative people, it's a time to really get into your creative endeavors, your projects, the things that you've been putting off. You may just find that everything will start to flow a lot quicker than what it was. We also have Saturn, the planet of discipline and opportunity, is retrograde at the moment in Aquarius. Now, this is hopefully one of those times that we can cross our fingers and say, is this the time that maybe the world can come to a conclusion and get a breakthrough with this war in Ukraine? We can only hope. But it's the time that things like that can happen, because people are not necessarily taking any less notice of it, but they're trying to sort of work in a quieter sort of way in the background to try and find a solution or a resolution. And that's a very good example of how Saturn retrograde works. The final one is Pluto. Pluto's in Capricorn, been there for a very long time now. We'll be there till 2028. Now, with Pluto, it's maybe not quite as well known, but Pluto spends most of his time or half of his lifetime going retrograde. So a Pluto retrograde is almost considered normal. It just means that Pluto's working in a quieter fashion in the background, trying to get us to all take a little bit more notice about climate change and really sort of starting to take notice of the world leaders that we actually put in power, the people that we vote in our respective countries and nations, that we need all now collectively are seeking change. So we're going to talk with our first person this morning, and it's Aruna in Surrey in British Columbia in Canada. Are you there, Aruna? And I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Hello.
Do you have a question I can work with, please, sweetie?
Yes, I was wondering, I lost my sister. I'm wondering if there's any message for me. And is she okay?
All right, sweetie. Look, I'm really sorry to hear that you lost your sister. I can guarantee you that she's okay. I've never had anyone come through from the other side and say to me they're not happy or they're not settled there. Or, I mean, obviously they don't want to be there, but I've never had anyone come through and say to me, it's terrible over here. You know, they always come through with a positive, uplifting message. Please share with my family I'm okay, that, you know, I miss them, and you know, all those sort of things. So I can guarantee your sister is okay. What she is sharing with me, was this very sudden, was it, her passing?
Okay.
You know, she's saying to me it was sudden. It was like I was here 1 minute and gone the next. It's sort of as if she's still in a little bit of disbelief that her time came to an end, that, you know, she wasn't ready to go yet. That's what she's sharing with me.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's asking me to share with you that it's okay to be sad. You know, like, she doesn't have the answers. She can't give you the answers at why everything sort of moved so quickly and why it happened the way it did, but it did. And, you know, we've all got to get on with things. She's also sort of showing me that were you planning on maybe making a major change in your life just prior to losing your sister?
Yes.
She wants me to share with you that it's time to proceed with that now. You know, you can honour her by living your life to the fullest. You know, she knows you're going to be sad and it's going to take a long time and you might never, ever get over it. I don't think we ever get over a loss. I think we find a place to put the pain and the sadness and the loss, and we only visit it when we have to, you know, but it's always there. It's never really gone. But she wants you to sort of get on with those changes that you were about to make in your life. And she wants you to do that, not just for her, but for yourself as well. But she's saying it's time now that we've got to start moving forward again. She wants to see you smile. She wants to see you laugh again. She wants to see that twinkle in your eye again. She keeps telling me that you were her greatest strength. And I don't know whether she told you that often enough when she was here on Earth, but that's one of the major messages she was trying to share with me, to let you know that she loves you, she misses you, and you were her greatest strength. You were the one that she looked up to. You were the one that gave her inspiration and courage to take the steps in her life that, you know, sometimes were difficult. And, you know, without your love and support, she doesn't know how she would have got through it. So that's a really lovely message coming through there from your sister.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome, but she wants you to start moving forward. So whatever that was that a move of residence, or was it just taking on a new direction in your life?
Just a new direction in my life. It's just, and with her being gone, I've just been very sad and lost without her.
Oh, absolutely. There's no bus timetable for how long it takes us to get over grief. As I said before, I don't think we ever truly get over it. I think we find a way of carrying on without them being here
And
with
I,
us. And
I
look,
feel like
you
she's
know,
trying to get through to me. The past couple of weeks, there's a bird coming to visit me and would not leave me until it made sure that I made eye contact with it at the middle of the night, and it leaves in the morning. I was wondering, is that her coming to
oh,
see me?
absolutely. Absolutely. And sweetie, they find different ways of getting our attention, and there's no one way that they contact us. If that's what you believe and that's what you felt and that's what you kept being drawn to, most definitely it's her. And it's her way of saying, hey, I'm still here. I'm a bird. I'm
Yes.
free. I'm here to sort of brighten your day. So yeah, look for little symbols like that. It could be a song on the radio. It could be 3 words in a movie. It doesn't matter. They find all different ways of connecting with us. And grief is a very personal thing. Don't let anybody tell you should be over it yet. There's no time for when grief finishes. It's a personal journey, and you can be going on 10 years down the track from losing your sister and still have a really bad day, and that's okay. We're allowed to have
Yes.
these days. That makes you human. And she loves you and she misses you, and she just wants you to go and live your life. She wants to see you dance again, whether that means go dancing or whether she wants to see you, dancing as in happy in your life and enjoying life, I think is more what she was meaning, Arena.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going
Thank you so much.
we're going to leave you. You're very, very welcome, sweetie, and enjoy the rest of your night. We're going to talk with Pam in Millstadt in Illinois. Are you there, Pam?
Hi, yes, I am.
What a lovely place, lovely part of the world. So how can I help you today, Pam? Do you have a question I can work with, please, sweetie?
Well, I lost my brother November 3rd of last year. I was his power of attorney and executor, and I guess going through some of the the decisions, end of life decisions, was really very, very difficult for me. And I don't know, I just keep wanting a sign from him that, everything was good. I did good, or I just want a sign from him. And I've been asking for it. I've been praying for it. I haven't. I guess I'm wanting something clear, or a definite, so I would know.
That's a very good point, Pam. We here on Earth tend to think that we've got to get a sign that's something that we can't miss. It's like somebody writing something up on the whiteboard, yes, you've done a good job or something like that. We don't always understand that it sometimes can be very subtle. And when you've been dealing with your brother's affairs like that and you're trying to make sure that you're honouring his wishes, and even when there wasn't clear instruction, tuning into what you think he would want or how he would want you to handle it. When you were talking to me about it, the first symbol that he showed me was the symbol of endings, change and transformation. Now, I took that as to being that was the finish of it. Like you handled it, really, really well. He couldn't have given you more red ticks in the column to say, well done, if there was enough space on the paper. So you've handled everything that he was very happy with. I think you've exceeded his expectations of how you were able to sort of almost tune into what you think he would have suggested or how he would have handled it if he was still here with us. And for that, he's very grateful. And he's also saying to me that he wants you now to sort of ignore those people that are still trying to sort of tell you should have done this or you should have done that. Just block them out,
Really?
like there's a lot of, because he's saying to me that everybody else has got an opinion on what you should or shouldn't have done. And in his opinion, you've done everything he could have asked for and some.
Oh.
So it's like everybody else out. Yeah, like if somebody says, oh, you should have done this, say, no, well, I did what I thought was right, and that's the end of the conversation. And be firm about it, because he is really, really happy. He's concerned that you're a little bit tired, though. He keeps saying to me, you've got to slow down. You've got to think of yourself now. You've got to give yourself a little bit of breathing space. So have you been sort of pushing too hard in every area of your life that is making him so concerned, not just dealing with his affairs?
Not that I can think of particularly. I mean, I do do a lot, as far as I take care of my
Mhm.
yard, I take care of the pool, I take care of the house. But most of the outside stuff I really enjoy. So I don't
Mhm.
know,
Yeah, he was just
what.
saying to me that you're just doing too much, that he was saying to me that you were pushing past the point of being tired. And I suppose that's his way of trying to look after you and protect you and sort of saying, hey, sis, if you're tired, sit down for 5 minutes. It's okay. Have a cup of coffee, turn
Mhm,
the radio on. You know what I mean? Give yourself little
mhm.
breaks because he's frightened that you're pushing past the point of where your body's saying, hey, hang on a minute, I need to rest, even if it's only for a few minutes, and then go again, that you can bring on some sort of illness. He keeps showing me that you're getting run down, and that's what he's trying to prevent.
Okay. Hmm. Okay.
It doesn't mean you've got to stop doing what you're doing. It's just listen to your body. If your body says it's tired, don't think, oh, well, I'll sit down in 5 minutes' time when I've just done this. Sit down now. In 5 minutes' time, go
Okay.
back to it, or 10 minutes, or tomorrow. What does it matter? I mean, nobody's going to give you a bad report card because you didn't clean the pool 100% today and you finished it off tomorrow. You just got to be a little bit kinder to yourself. I think what he's trying to share with me, you don't realize how taxing it's been with the extra workload of sorting out his affairs and dealing with his loss that it's taken on your body. You know what I mean? You're a person that gets the job done and you don't rest until you've got it done. Well, he's asking you to
Well,
sort of just reassess it a little bit more.
that's very true. That's very true. You know, I do want to get everything done. I mean, I'm getting close
Mm-hmm.
to the end of his, the estate part, and
Mm-hmm.
but I tell you what, losing him has been one of the hardest things I've ever gone through,
Oh, I'm
and I
sure.
just can't seem to get past it. Um,
Darling, there's
I
no
mean,
there's no buffer timetable to get past it. I mean, at the moment you're still dealing with the day-to-day stuff, the paperwork side of his life. You really haven't had time to stop and just grieve. There's been other things that have needed your attention. And that's probably why he keeps saying to me, you got to tell her to slow down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's important. Grief doesn't necessarily come in a month's time you do this, and in 2 months you do that, or in 6 months you do that. It's a very personal thing. And I don't even know that in the first 12 months after a loss, we even really start to begin to grieve. We robotically function and do the things that we need to do in this tremendous time of sadness that sort of
mhm.
we keep promising ourselves that we'll deal with our grief when I'm completed the financial affairs or the you know handling his wishes, but we don't look after ourselves in that. I mean, I've been through a lot of grief in my life, and I can assure you, no two situations are the same. And every time that you go through grief, you deal with it in a different way. It's sort of a very personal thing that goes with, I think, the person that we've lost. So, if you're really struggling, one of the best books I think today is still on the market called On Death and Dying by Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. You can pick it up in most good bookstores or online. That's always been my go-to recommendation for people that are grieving. She spent most of her life working on grief.
What's the
And
name of it?
it's called On Death and Dying by
On
Dr.
Death and
Elizabeth
Dying.
Kubler-Ross. Yeah,
Okay.
Death and Dying by Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. It's still in print. Dr. Ross is no longer with us, but she spent all her life working in that area on grief, and she had a lot of tragedy in her life, so she was a real expert on it. So it's easy to read. It's a book that you can pick up and just open up a section and read it, and it'll give you comfort. So it'll help you understand the different stages of grief, that you're not abnormal, that because you can't get over that tremendous loss feeling, or every time you think of him you burst into tears. They're all very, very normal reactions. We don't talk about grief enough in the world. We don't share with people that how hard it is, that people can struggle for years trying to come to terms with their losses. It's not something you wake up and magically 6 months later it's all gone. It doesn't work that way. I was only
No.
saying to someone yesterday, it's been very, very long time since I lost my husband, and yesterday was our wedding anniversary, and people, my girlfriend said to me, oh, but that shouldn't bother you now after all these years. And I said, of course it does. Of course I think back to that day. It was a special day for us. And just because, many years have passed and he's been gone more years than we had anniversaries doesn't mean I don't think about it. And that, to me, is normal. And that's what I'm trying to share with you. Things are normal for you because you're experiencing it. And don't let anybody take that away from you.
Okay. Is he around me?
Oh, all the time, Pam, all the time. And he gives you signs in ways that you're probably not even aware of. He's got a little bit of a cheeky personality. Did he like to play practical jokes when he was here?
No.
Well, he's showing me a cheeky energy. He keeps saying to me, I keep turning the lights on and off, turning things on that Pam goes and turns it off and think, oh, I mustn't have forgot to turn that off. Well, that's him.
No. That's not ringing a bell.
He's not doing that. So just watch out for your lights flickering, Pam, because he's going to do that to let you know that he's around. Anyway, Pam, that's where we've got to leave it. We've come to the end of the show. So for those people that are suffering with grief, I hope that you write the name of that book down, On Death and Dying by Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. It will help you. And I want to leave you with a song this week, which I think is a very pretty song, and by a very nice lady that sang this song very, very well. And it's called True Colours by Cyndi Lauper. And I think we all need to be our true selves and, really embrace our own true colours, because we are unique, wonderful human beings that make up the world. And we need to just be ourselves. Don't try and be somebody that you're not. Just be you. You're very special and unique the way you are. Until next week, bye for now.